Hello, I am Xarkun, and this is World of Warships Legends. Today we're going to take another look at the legendary tier British light cruiser Minotaur, which I think, even with the debut of the heavy American cruiser Des Moines in the game, remains my favorite cruiser at the legendary tier. I love it so much, and this is a pretty good game in the Minotaur where I almost single-handedly help carry my team to victory, but not quite. I was going to put this up as what it was, a highlight from my most recent stream on Sunday with the live commentary, because I think the live commentary version is good, but I thought this game deserved its own post-game analysis, just because it is such a strange thing. So we'll start off by analyzing the deployment of my own team, which starts off fairly strong, but gets weaker and weaker as time goes by. So you can see that the ships on my team have spread out pretty nicely. We've got a destroyer in the Bravo cap attempting to flip that. We've got one headed toward Charlie, and we've got the Cian Yang in front of us headed toward Alpha. By all indications, these destroyers are going to get into the caps and take them, although now Charlie is beginning to turn red, so that might deter our destroyer up there from getting inside of it. But surely the Cian Yang at Alpha and the destroyer at Bravo will be able to cap. No, not really. Here comes the Summers into Bravo. We begin shooting at him, although we aren't going to quite get a hit as he smokes up. That's going to drive our destroyer outside of the Bravo cap. Meanwhile, the Cian Yang has been driven out of the Alpha cap because there's a Khabarovsk over there, and that is not necessarily something I understand. Now that the Khabarovsk is going away, I'm not sure why the Cian Yang is not getting into Alpha. There's absolutely nothing stopping him from taking it. I think instead he wants to sail out there to get torpedoes on a battleship. Meanwhile, what have we done? Well, we assumed the Cian Yang would be getting into Alpha, and we assumed that more enemy ships than just the Khabarovsk would come around to the Alpha side, so we smoked up, anticipating that our Cian Yang would spot us some targets. That's not quite happening due to the enemy's deployment. They're sort of very heavily concentrated Bravo and Charlie caps, so this isn't a great position for the smoke screen, but we're going to try to make the most out of it. We've got 43 seconds left, and just now the GK out there is coming into our range, so we're going to be able to rain down some armor-piercing spam on him, at least for a time, and we're anticipating the Bismarck coming around the corner over there so we can start getting shots on him. Meanwhile, none of our destroyers are in any of the capture circles. Charlie has been flipped red, the reds are pushing into it, and only whatever destroyer we have up there by Charlie is in any kind of position to deter them from continuing to push or stop them in any way. The rest of our ships are down in the center of the map. We've already lost a destroyer, the enemy team has lost 0 destroyers, and we've lost a battleship to boot. So things are not off to a great start. The stream that this game came from was very nice in the sense that I went the entire stream losing only one game. I think I played 15 games, won 14 of them. This was the singular loss, but it was not for lack of effort, as you'll see. Now that our smoke screen is gone, we're going to be able to move out of this position, and we're going to go more toward the center of the map where most of the enemy ships are. We've still got a mind on this Bismarck, but we take note of the Yamato flanking around the Alpha cap, and we notice that Alpha is turning red, which indicates the Khabarovsk has returned and is going to flip it uncontested. Meanwhile, our Cian Yang is out in front of this Bismarck and this GK, I assume trying to torpedo them and not necessarily succeeding, and the other destroyer is up near the Charlie cap, still trying to deter those ships up there from pushing through, and I think maybe he is succeeding at that because those ships haven't moved all that much. We finally get the killing blow on the Bismarck, and he goes down for the very first enemy ship sunk. There's still 8 more to go, though, and we are behind severely on points. The enemy has just taken Alpha, and that GK is probably going to flip Bravo. Maybe not. He's going to be constantly reset by somebody, but notice we continue to hit him, and the capture progress continues to go up. That is because there is an unspotted destroyer inside of that capture circle, taking all the capture points. Khabarovsk reveals himself. He is very far away, though. Oftentimes, I know I say shoot at destroyers every time you see them, but in this case, with the Minotaur, which has very floaty shells that take a long time to reach targets at distance, it's not always worth it to shoot at Khabarovsk that far away, especially because shooting him wasn't going to stop him from taking the cap. I mean, he'd already taken it. Now, though, things are getting dire. Something really, really needs to be done, otherwise the enemy team is just going to crash right through us, and everybody is going to perish, including me. So I'm going to push up closer to the vast majority of the enemy ships over here between the Bravo and Charlie cap. Looks like a Bismarck and Vittorio Veneto are pushing in tandem through that gap there. There's also a Shimakaze, and that Grosse Kurfürst is coming around as well. So all the enemy ships are located within one choke point, and that's going to mean torpedoes have the potential to be very effective. So we launch torpedoes off one side of the ship, but the Minotaur is armed to the teeth with torpedoes, so we can turn around and launch the rest from the other side for a total of, what is that, 16 torpedoes? Yes, I think so. 8 off each side of the ship. So a cocktail of 16 torpedoes sailing into the Shimakaze smokescreen. We have not yet opened fire, even though you might think we could have. We couldn't, because as soon as we opened fire, we would have been spotted, and there is a Yamato directly behind us that would have had shots. So instead, we get as close to these enemies as possible. We smoke up. Then we start shooting instantly at the Shimakaze. He's got to go down. None of the enemy destroyers have perished, but there goes the first one, sunk at our hands, so that's good. Now we can work on the Veneto and the Bismarck. They've got torpedoes coming at them. I think the Bismarck is going to be lucky. Looks like he would go down with just one torpedo hit, potentially the Veneto too, and he's going to take one right on the nose. It is not quite enough to sink him, but that's okay because our shells into his superstructure should be enough if we can aim high enough and miss his belt armor and guns. There he goes. There is our third kill of the game, and the Bismarck is next. He's got barely any health either. Just need to get some of these shells into his superstructure, and there's our double strike. The Bismarck is gone. All right, so 3 ships sunk. 4 ships sunk in total on the enemy team. We are responsible for 3 of them. I'm not sure what that says about our team, but you can decide for yourself. In any case, the GK is pushing out broadside in front of us, so we become much more effective in this situation. Somehow we don't have spotting, though, because both of our destroyers have managed to put themselves behind an island where they can't even see this giant hulking battleship. But he does get revealed again. We've still got 30 seconds left on the smoke screen, so we should be able to do that. We can see Worcester pushing in from near the Charlie cap toward one of our battleships. Surely he won't be around for long, and he's not. The battleship takes him out. There is the Summers, who we've already seen once before in this game, and at that point he really didn't take any damage. This time is going to be no exception either. He's going to get away relatively unscathed here. We're going to tag him exactly once with 1 shell. Meanwhile, Khabarovsk coming forward, sailing straight. I was under the impression the Khabarovsk had a rudder, but this one does not appear to, and we are chunking him quite nicely as the GK chunks us. We are going to have to run away. The Yamato is still in the Alpha cap with sort of a crossfire on us, so we're wary of him at all times. At any point in time, he could theoretically nuke us there. I think he might have shot at us. No, it looks like he shot at the battleship in front of us, so we are okay at this point. Only the GK seems to have our attention, and here come his shots, but we are going to be able to dodge them. Meanwhile, one of our friendly battleships is approaching the Yamato over there, and he's going to end up ramming him, which makes us lose both our battleship and the Yamato, and that just leaves the Grosse Kurfürst and the 2 destroyers. So, the game that looked completely unwinnable has, thanks in large part to our effort, become much more winnable. This GK is not going to last for long. He's got nowhere else to go, and he's being focused by literally everybody. The only question is, who gets the killing blow? It's not me, but I do manage to bounce all of the GK's shells off the Minotaur's Citadel armor. You could see there they all hit the center of the ship right on the side, but we were angled enough to actually ricochet those shells because the Citadel armor, if no other armor on the Minotaur, is at least thick enough to bounce battleship shells. Not a reliable thing, but always lovely when it works out like that. In any case, it's just the Khabarovsk left and the Summers. The Khabarovsk is in the open, firing his guns, taking return fire. Looks like he is about to panic and drive himself right into that island, which is going to completely compromise his maneuverability, and basically he's going to be a sitting duck, so it should only be a matter of time. Obviously, we have 4 kills to our name, so we'd like to pick up that 5th for the Kraken Unleashed, but no, the Khabarovsk is taken out by one of our teammates. That's fine. As long as he goes down, that's all that counts. However, we do have a problem here. The problem is that we are so far behind on points by, what is that, nearly 400 points? Not quite, but almost. The enemy has controlled all 3 caps for so long in the game that at this point their points lead might be insurmountable. Luckily, we have just taken the Charlie cap, we've got a destroyer in Bravo, and really what I should be doing is turning toward the Alpha cap. So I'm going to start doing that now as I dodge some torpedoes from the Summers. But here's the unfortunate part with respect to the Summers. In this situation, with 3 minutes left to go in the game, the enemy ahead by nearly 400 points, and us just now flipping the Bravo cap and moving toward Alpha, well, we don't really have enough time to overtake the enemy on points, thanks to their cap control for the majority of the game. This is once again a textbook example of why cap control is so very important in a game, and why even trying to kill all of the enemy ships is not a reliable way to win games in domination mode. If you need any other examples of it, I don't know what other game to point you to aside from this, because this is, again, classic textbook. So what is the proper move for the Summers here? Well, the proper move is for him to stay out of sight, not risk getting sunk, and simply run away and take his win. Even if we do manage to flip the Alpha cap, we are going to stop the enemy points accrual at 803 points. Once we flip this Alpha cap circle, we will start gaining points from it, but there are less than 2 minutes left to go in the game now at this point. So even if we do flip this cap circle, we are not going to make up a 400 points deficit in less than 2 minutes. So there's no way we're going to win on points. The only way we can win is by trying to sink the Summers. And the proper move for the Summers? Just run away. Rest on your laurels. You've already won the game. All you need to do to maintain that win is absolutely nothing. Now, unfortunately, in World of Warships Legends, most destroyer players in this situation would probably be trying to do something. They would not be looking at their points, they would not see they were ahead, they would only see that there are 4 enemy ships left and 1 of them, so they would try to sink the enemy ships. They'd probably get spotted, and then they would probably be sunk and throw the game. That's probably how most destroyer players would approach it, but not this Summers. This Summers recognizes that he has every advantage. There's absolutely nothing he needs to do except survive, and that's exactly what he's going to do. I kind of wish, in retrospect, that I had used radar on the Minotaur instead, although I don't think I could have positioned myself quite the same in this game with the radar if I had had it, and I probably would not have come quite this far just due to the team's positioning, but at the same time I might be able to spot this Summers and take him out. As such, there are only like 15 seconds left to go in this game. This guy has maintained his concealment the entire time. Only now, with less than 10 seconds left to go, is he actually going to shoot his guns, reveal his position, and gloat in his well-deserved victory. GG, Summers, you did exactly the right thing, and you got a solo warrior out of it. So, even though I lost this game, I felt that I at least helped contribute to making it competitive, and I'm glad to see the Summers doing the right thing and getting rewarded with the solo warrior. Nevertheless, a bit of a disappointment. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.